Good evening, this is Val, and today I will analyze the Library Babel. The Library Babel is a short story written by George Louis Borges. I will first introduce how the library looks like, and I will switch the second slide here. And this is a picture I find in the internet. This is a faithful replication of this library. The other photo I found on the internet has kind of those artistic exaggeration. And first, the library is formed by an indefinite, perhaps infinite number of hexagonal galleries. You can see those rooms, they are hexagonal galleries. And at the four sides of these galleries, there are bookshelves. And on the two sides of those hexagonal galleries, people can walk through this gallery. And in each pathway, there are two rooms you can see there. The larger room is the bathroom, and the smaller one is a bedroom. People can only stand there to sleep. And there's a stairway connect those hexagonal galleries vertically. And then I will jump into the official slides. First, I will introduce. First, many people think the Library of Babel is infinite and disordered. Because I think they are actually misled by the narrator, because the narrator can never travel through the whole library, and the library is sometimes make people frustrating because it's very disordered. But I think the library is still a combination of infinity and finiteness, disorder and order. It would not be so accurate to simply conclude the library is infinite or finite, disorder or ordered. This essay will first explain why the library exhibits the characteristics of infinity, finiteness, disorder, and order. After the four characteristics are established, this essay will explain why the library is the combination of infinity and finiteness, disorder, and order. In other words, I would explain the middle ground there. First, the library exhibits the characteristic of infinity. The library is formed by an indefinite, perhaps infinite number of hexagonal galleries. Horizontally, hexagonal galleries are connected by the two of the hexagon's six sides. And there is an infinite number of hexagonal galleries. These galleries are infinite horizontally. And some people spend their lifetime traveling the library, but they can never reach the end of the library. In other words, nobody has ever traveled through the entire libraries. Neither did the narrator travel through the entire library. And that's why, from the narrator's perspective, the library is largely infinite. And in the middle of each hexagonal gallery, there's a ventilation shaft. And we can see from the photo the rungs in the middle. And if a person jumps to that ventilation shaft, that person would fall forever. And he will never reach the end until his body dissolves in the air. And this is why the library exhibits the characteristic of infinity. And second, the library exhibits the characteristic of finiteness. The narrator is actually not really sure about the nature of the library, because the narrator, if we watch carefully, we can see the narrator uses perhaps shall in describing infinity. His uncertainty, from his opinion, we can see creates this possible interpretation of finiteness. And even though there are many books that answers to all the questions in the world that ever existed or will exist in the future, and they are inherently formed by 25 symbols. And these 25 symbols can only form finite combinations because the length of the book is finite. According to the narrator, there are 5 bookshelves in each hexagon, and each bookshelf have 32 books, and each book has 410 pages, and each page has 40 lines. Each line has 8 letters, and we can see this is not infinite, this is finite. and the character from this book is also finite. There's a combination, like each space can be possible 25 symbols, and this is a free combination of this whole book. The total number is really huge, but it's still finite. So based on the evidence above, the library is mathematically finite with extremely huge number but still finite number of books. And third, the library also exhibits the characteristics of disorder. The nature of this book is chaotic and formless according to the narrator. Because the books are just random combination of these 25 symbols, it is even hard to find a complete sentence that makes sense. And so it is even harder to find a page, a chapter, or a book that actually makes sense. The narrator's father has once found a book consists of only MCV, 3 letters, persistively repeated until from the first time to the last, to the end. The letter on the cover of page is also random because it doesn't indicate the what the book will say. And besides, the name of the library may also suggest the disorder of this library itself, because this is it reminds me of a story from Bible, and the story is very famous. It's called the Tower of Babel, and in the past people have gone through a huge flood, and they try to build a tower to avoid this flood, and somehow they irrigate the god, and the god decides to punish them. So the god disrupts the language, and then they cannot communicate with each other. The construction plan of this Tower of Babel becomes a failure, and then the Tower of Babel also becomes a symbol of disorder. And this Tower of Babel's name is just as same as the Library of Babel. They all have this Babel in the name, and I think there's a high chance the Library of Babel also suggests disorder in this short story. The last characteristic is order. The library also exhibits the characteristic of order. The short story describes the long and painful journey people has gone through in the way trying to find an order. The purpose to find an order creates one and only profession in this library, and that is a librarian. There has been a librarian, many librarians since the library starts, and people will try to find books and put them into the order. And at the end of this book, the narrator gives us a hope, and that hope, I think this is a hint to the order. And the hope says, if a person could live immortal and he travel forever through just one side, after like countless years, he will find himself repeat the past he has gone through. And this repeat pattern is an order, I think. So based on the analysis above, the library exhibits the characteristic of infinity and finiteness, disorder and order. And I believe the library cannot be simply concluded as one extreme side. Instead, the library is a combination of opposing ideas. The library is not just simply infinite, because people may believe the library is finite, infinite, because the library can answer all the questions ever existed or will exist in the future. And it was also the description of the narrator makes people believe that the library is infinite, because the narrator can never go through the whole library. And based on his personal experience, the library is largely infinite. But it doesn't mean the nature of the library is infinite, because no matter how the books vary, they are inherently formed by 25 symbols with finite combinations. And within this finite combination, the total number of books is also finite. And when the total numbers of the books are finite, the library of Babel is also finite. And then I'll introduce why the library also is in the middle ground of disorder and order. The library cannot just simply be concluded as disorder, because the library can also repeat, which is considered order. And human being has spent many generations trying to find their order, and they have established certain orders in the library. And we cannot say the library is just order, because the library is still just random combination of 25 symbols. It's very hard to find a complete sentence, and so it's even hard to find the book that makes sense. And this is why I think the library is the combination of infinity and finiteness, disorder and order. Thanks for watching. Bye.